What's up everyone, Darcblade here with another episode in my Guide in Destiny series. In this episode we're going to be taking a look at the update 1.1, or the one about the exotics and the raid. This is a substantial patch that has come into Destiny, as it changes many of the aspects of the exotic weapons, but also adds a few new elements in how you get crafting materials. Along with this, there will also be changes to the raid. The majority of the changes come to the exotic weapons in the game. Basically, exotic weapons were designed to look and feel and sound overpowered. Bungie said also that at the same time they're not supposed to be unbalanced, giving players an unfair advantage, especially in PvP. Now in general, the changes have come in preparation for the Dark Below expansion. Exotic armor and weapons will no longer require Ascendant Shards and Ascendant Energy to upgrade. Instead, they will have a final upgrade node that will require an Exotic Shard, a new crafting material for Destiny. The Exotic Shards can be obtained in one of two ways. Firstly, you can dismantle unwanted exotics, or you can buy them for 7 strange coins from Zure on the weekends. All this means that exotics now start with a higher base attack value and have a narrowed upgrade range to compensate. This is also in preparation for the upcoming expansion, so our exotics won't be completely obsolete. Overall, I feel this is a great change. Not only does it give us a reason to spend our strange coins again, but on top of that, it gives us the chance to upgrade our exotic gear, which we've probably all spent a lot of time collecting. Now, a lot of the exotic weapons have had buffs or nerfs, so I'm going to go through them briefly. The Fawn has had many changes to it. The projectiles now briefly highlight targets on impact. The Mark of the Devourer dot, the damage over time effect upgrade, is increased against PvE enemy targets. It's had its reload speed increase, magazine size increase, the ammo inventory size increased, and finally the stability and weapon handling has increased. As you can see, this weapon's been buffed a lot. I don't know if it will take my place as my favourite exotic handgun though, because I still enjoy the Hawk Moon. Moving on to the next one, Bad Juju. Basically, the magazine size has increased to 8 bursts. It was 5. The ammo inventory size has increased. The string of curses now also decreases the cooldown of your super when killing enemies. This is actually quite a nice change. And lastly, they've adjusted the effects to not block first person reticles. They've made a few changes to Hard Light. They've increased its stability, and the Perfect Balance upgrade has now been replaced by the Fitted Stock upgrade. This increases the maximum possible weapon stability. The Suros regime has had a change. Basically, they've lowered the total damage at the end of the magazine on the Suros regime upgrade. This is to bring it more in line with the glass half full perk found on legendary auto rifles, so a bit of a nerf there. The Monte Carlo has had 3 changes to it. Its stability has increased, the range has slightly decreased though, and the Monte Carlo method upgrade now also has a chance to fully charge your melee ability on a kill. That change is actually quite nice. The Midder multi-tool has had one change. The Midder rounds now have an increased knockback against targets in both PvE and PvP. Next is the Hawk Moon. The Send It upgrade has been replaced with a speed reload. Not too much of a bad change, as the Hawk Moon already had 2 upgrades that would increase its range. Moving on to the Red Death, this has had one change. The rate of fire has been increased slightly, but the burst damage reduced to compensate. I don't use the Red Death too much, so I can't comment too much on this change. Plan C has had 2 changes. Firstly, the weapon handling speed is increased, and the player's speed increased while holding the Plan C. Moving on to talk about the Pocket Infinity. The speed reload upgrade has been replaced by extended clips, which allows the option to increase the magazine size to 5. I remember a few weeks ago, maybe a month, they actually nerfed the Pocket Infinity. It seems they have changed it back. Now, moving on to one of the big changes to one of the guns, the Vex Mytho class. The attack power has now increased to 323, up from 300. The base damage increase was a result of a bug that was introduced in previous patches. They've also changed the enhanced battery upgrade to extended mag. This change still allows for a significant upgrade to the magazine size, but less than it was before, unfortunately. Next comes the Invective. The speed reload of this gun has increased significantly, but as a result the full auto has been slowed down. Next comes the Icebreaker. There's 2 changes to this weapon. Firstly, the Send It upgrade has been replaced by Lightweight. meaning you'll get +2 agility when holding this weapon when lightweight is equipped. They've also added new effects for enemies killed by the Icebreaker upgrade. Moving on to the second exotic sniper rifle, Patience and Time. Snapshot upgrade has been replaced by custom optics. This gives players using this upgrade a lower zoom option if they want. Next, the heavy machine gun super good advice, they've increased its stability. And lastly, with the rocket launcher Truth, they've increased the magazine size to 3 from 1. Hopefully this means that this exotic rocket launcher will see some more use. Next we'll talk about the changes to the activities that this update has brought. Firstly, they've brought 2 changes to the raid. They fixed an issue that was introduced in a previous patch in which Atheon did not correctly teleport 3 players into the portal. This is now changed and players should be teleported correctly. The second change comes to the Templar boss. Basically there was an exploit where you could push the Templar off the edge. This is no longer possible. So it seems at last they're addressing the problems Destiny has with its raid. Next, they've made a change to the daily heroics story. Basically, destination materials now drop from completing the daily heroic. This is actually quite a nice change. And lastly, with some bounties, they've removed the relic hunter bounty, and destination materials now drop for completing the daily patrol bounty. A nice little addition. Moving on to the changes they brought to the vendors in this patch. Firstly, they've reduced Cryptarch reputation gain from engrams. But reputation reward packages now have an increased chance for legendary engrams. Next, players will also be able to use their Vanguard and Crucible marks to purchase Spin Metal, Relic Iron, Spirit Bloom, Helium Filaments, and so on from the Vanguard and Crucible quartermasters in the tower. This is actually a really good change, as I had nothing to spend my Vanguard marks on lately. Next is a change that I've sort of already mentioned. Basically, Jur will be selling a new material, the exotic shards, to upgrade the final nodes for exotics for 7 strange coins. And lastly, the faction class items, i.e. the Dead Orbit mark and so on, are now replaced by faction emblems in the rank up reward packages from the faction vendors. So you'll never get a replica class item when you actually rank up your reputation with them. And finally, with this upgrade comes 2 changes to the technical side of Destiny. Firstly, networking fixes, which should reduce the instance of the B family of KTOs. And lastly, they've fixed an issue in which Xbox One party chat induced a slower frame rate to the game. So overall, it's quite a good update. I'm pleased that they finally got around to fixing or nerfing some of the exotic weapons out there. And this actually makes me a little bit more hyped for the upcoming expansion, The Dark Below. As always, I'll leave a link down in the description below where you can check out the full patch notes from Bungie, and I would love to hear what you think about the changes. Are there any changes to the weapons that you love or hate? Leave a comment down below. And until next time, I've been Darcblade, bringing you a patch update video for the update 1.1, or the one about the exotics and the raid, as I guide you through Destiny. Hope you enjoyed the video, thanks for watching, subscribe and like for more.